Well, hey, Jason, how are you today, sir?
Doing great.
Good. Glad to have you with us. We're talking today with Jason Dyken. Jason's a financial advisor down in the Gulf Shores area. I'll let Jason tell us a little bit about what he does, how long he's been doing it, and who he targets as a prospect and client.
Great, Michael. Yeah, my name's Jason Dyken. Actually started a second career. I'm a retired physician and left practice of internal medicine in 2001 and started my own comprehensive financial planning firm, focusing exclusively on physicians and dentists. And I'm located in Gulf Shores, Alabama, but I have clients all over the country, and am trying to do a local presence as well as possibly a virtual presence in my marketing efforts and the growth of my business.
Excellent. Excellent. That's one of the unique things that I really appreciated about Jason when he first came to us to be an author is the target market that he's going after is very specific, and it plays well with his background. He didn't mention that he's married to a beautiful lady who's a dentist as well. So everything about Jason is around the medical world, and that's who he targets. And so that really helps him speak the language of his prospects. Tell us a little bit, Jason, about your book. You came to us a couple years ago, and talk to us a little bit about the book and why. What was going through your head when you were thinking about doing a book, and then what made you pull the trigger on that?
Great. Yeah, I would say it's been an evolution. In my practice, focusing on physicians and focusing on comprehensive financial planning, not just doing investment management, not just selling insurance services, but really doing complete comprehensive financial planning where you're helping them with cash flow, debt analysis, asset protection, estate planning, all the features of comprehensive planning. And what I found over the years is, even though I am a physician and my wife's an orthodontist, talking to other medical professionals, they ask what you do, and immediately, if you mention financial planning, they assume that you're one of those product salespeople in either investment management or insurance services. And my challenge has always been trying to differentiate how my approach, the comprehensive approach, is different than other advisors out in the marketplace. Because doctors are busy, they have a very short time frame that they'll allow you to introduce yourself and communicate. And, they come to a conclusion pretty quick about what you are and who you are and what you're trying to achieve by talking to them. So I'd always been trying to figure out how I differentiate. And I found that once I sit down with a doctor and explain how we're different and how my approach is different and why I do what I do, they seem to always engage and they always stay with me. And I have, a high retention rate for my clients. And, that's the challenge has always been getting over that credibility gap, that understanding of how I'm different and why I'm different, and then deciding to work with me. So, I've done all the different marketing aspects. I've done emails, I've done seminars, I've done free dinners, I've done client events, done presentations, sponsored presentations with county, medical, and dental associations, schools, etc. I've done the whole thing. I've been doing it for 18 years. And I found that my greatest success was when I was able to present kind of the full philosophy of what I do. And then people understood and understand how I was different. And so I was thinking, how do I communicate that in a more efficient way than begging people to come to a seminar, presenting this, and hoping that, one, they'll show up, two, that the message sticks and is pertinent to them, and three, then converting them in follow-up to become clients. And came across your organization and the work that you do in helping business owners promote themselves through educating and describing their services. And I thought it was a perfect fit and thought, well, this is a fantastic solution. I've never felt like I had the capability to write a book. I've done plenty of presentations, and taking those presentations and converting them to a published book sounded very intriguing, and actually went through the process, and indeed it has delivered the hope that I had expected. So that's a long answer, but I hope that kind of summarizes how I got to
Well,
you.
it does, and you hit in there a lot of things that other business owners deal with. Is the fact that you've done a lot of marketing, you've tried lots of things, and some of them have worked, some of them have not worked so well. But you mentioned in there you were looking for a way to differentiate yourself, because you're right. It happens in your industry. It happens in every industry that when you say I'm a financial advisor for you, they lump you with everybody else. They don't give you the time to say no, but I'm different. But when you hand them a copy of your book or mail them a copy of your book, it gets their attention and it immediately separates you. And your practice is unique, again, because you have a certain process. You've got the cure process, and you've got some things set in place that really does make you different. And we were able to help you communicate that in such a way in the book that it lays it out to be an educational piece, but also to be a piece that hopefully helps you connect at an emotional level and get them to know, like, and trust you, because you do have the background they do. You are a physician, and that really plays into it. Talk to us a little bit about just some of the ways that you've used your book in marketing now that it's been published.
Yeah, I think the first thing I did was just try to distribute it, just get the book in anybody's hands that would be willing to take it and read it, right? And that was kind of a leap of faith, because, you put yourself out there, and, in the book, we did define my process and defined, what we did, but we also defined very clearly why I do what I do, which, that's kind of exposing yourself, that's telling people, my heart and why I'm in it and why I do what I do. And so putting it out there and giving that away in a published format, was a leap of faith. It was something that was a little uncomfortable, but we did it anyway. And, it was fantastic. I mean, it was well received. Gave it to clients, centers of influences, prospects, suspects, anybody in the healthcare field. And, if I'm getting negative feedback, I haven't seen any of it. I mean, everything I've gotten from everybody distributed this book to has been positive. I mean, they're like, wow, that's a fantastic book. I really like the information, and I really understand what you do now. And I had clients that have been clients for a long time, read the book and said, oh, I understand our perspective. I understand how all the different things that we've been doing over the years now fit all together. And, I just assumed that they knew that. So distributing that to clients helped strengthen those relationships. Sending it to centers of influence, help them understand what I did, and then sending it to other prospects, introduces them to my philosophy and introduces them to why I do what I do and then what I do. And so that's been very effective, because now I don't have to have those hour-long conversations or 2-hour-long conversations of explaining what I do and how I do it. There's immediate credibility. They've already received my book. They've read my book, and they like me already. They like what I stand for. They like what I do, and they already know. So they've already qualified me by reading my book. And the book being published, I've had people introduce me to friends and say, oh, well, he wrote a book, so he knows what he's doing, which I never really thought that would happen, but it really has happened. So, how I'm using it now is really a backbone of my marketing efforts. It's just getting the book out there in hands of people that need the services that I provide.
Yeah, and that's great. And you're right. The marketing always happens in the mind of the prospect, right? And when you're an author, you're immediately perceived as an expert, and it's just how people think, and we just use that to our advantage, right? And the thing that you've said without saying it is, you are an information first marketer. You are putting information into people's hands to give them a better understanding and to help them come to a place where they'll say, okay, I now understand. It's happening even with your clients. And I think that's really important for most business owners, because a book is not I'm going to hand you a book and I'm going to have a strong call to action and you're going to come in. It's part of an entire process, but it's that part that really differentiates you much more than a business card, brochure, or anything else, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just been, it's been a lot more enjoyable too, because now instead of having to have those questions early on about how I we use products, but I don't sell products.
Right.
You know, we have a process and we have a plan, and it really improves my perspective because I don't feel like I'm going in there to battle, right? I'm going there more as a resource, as a educator. And hey, if we like each other and you agree with my philosophy and I enjoy working with you, then we'll move forward. But if not, here's the information and go find somebody to help you do this. So I feel like I'm still achieving the goal that I have is providing education to healthcare professionals who I care deeply about and allow them to at least become informed so they can make a more educated decisions, whether they use me or not. So it kind of fulfills my passion and my mission. Of course, I'd love for them to be clients of mine, but you know, sometimes we're not a fit and it's not, you know, the right situation. But the book really allows that platform to have those discussions that have been very successful.
Excellent. Way to go. Hey, real quick, last question before we stop this. Talk to us a little bit about the process. So when you first thought about writing a book, it had to be overwhelming. But talk to us a minute or two about the process that you walk through with us and how simple it is, I hope, right?
Yeah, Michael. I mean, I really couldn't believe that I could complete a published book in 10 years. I mean, I really didn't think that the process that you showed me, I could get done in 10 years, right?
Right.
I'm kidding. It didn't take me that long, right? But in my mind, when I thought about writing a book, I thought, there's no way this is going to be, you know, an immense undertaking. I'm going to have to put my entire life aside to be able to complete a book. And what I found through your process, it wasn't like that at all. You know, had qualified people speaking with me and helping me articulate the book in a kind of outline format through an interview process similar to what we're doing now. And then they would do the hard work of putting it in a book format and allowing me then to edit and adjust and make corrections. And really is a back and forth over, I don't know, we probably did that over 3 or 4 months, maybe a little longer because my stuff is a little more technical. And, you know, that can be challenging, but nonetheless, you know, having the resources that you have to help me through that process. And then even if it wasn't correct, finding additional resources to refine the message so it's exactly what I wanted to say, you know, it really took several months. And then it really was pretty easy when you think about it. I mean, this is what I was doing on a daily basis and talking to clients anyway. And this is what I was doing when I was presenting seminars. And this is what I was doing when I was doing educational meetings at the County Medical Society. I mean, I knew all the information. I just wasn't sure how to put it together and compose it in a book format. And so your staff and your company helped make that happen. And of course, I had no idea how to do illustrations or bonding or copywriting and, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know, covers and, you know, the really hard part of publishing a book. And really, y'all just usually just contacted me and said, hey, do you like option A, B, C, or D? And I'm like, I like B. Okay, let's go down that path. And so it was very easy and it wasn't near the 10-year process I had envisioned and was fearful of. So
that's good. Yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah. That's the beauty of the process is really we ask you to bring to the table the content for your book, and we try to do everything else for you. So I'm glad it worked out, brother.
Yeah, it was great. And it's been a game changer in my business. So I would highly recommend anybody going through the process.
Well, that's great. I appreciate it, Jason. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us today. And look forward to, you can find Jason's book on Amazon and or you can call him and he'll give you a copy as well because he follows the process, right? Tell us the name of your book. So if they go to Amazon, what is it?
It's Get It Right, the 5 most important financial planning concepts that doctors get wrong.
Absolutely. So Jason Dyken, author extraordinaire and a dear friend as well. So thanks for being with us today, Jason.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.